Who we got? We got Richard. Is he watching or no?
We do have one individual that's online, but then we'll get to.
All right. Seeing that we have, or we do have a quorum, right? Matt, sir,
Correct.
clerk. All right, so I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Charter Review Committee. July 3rd, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Roll call. All right, you want to do this, Fernando, or you want me to do it?
Chair.
All right, I gotta remember everything. Don Bennett,
Present.
Scott Bowler,
Present.
Leighton Dignan,
I'm here.
the esteemed Tom O'Sullivan.
Yeah, here.
I'm gonna ask you to that around too. The somewhat esteemed Tom
Somewhat. I'm
O'Sullivan.
still working my way up.
Present.
Yes, sir.
All right. Greg Shelton, Chairman, present. We have some people in the audience, or one person in the audience. Thank you, Officer Aguiano.
Audio.
And then Sarah over here. What's your last name, Sarah? Sarah Weaver, that's right. I've known her 25 years. All right, so oral communications. Anybody here? Oh, Sarah, you got anything to say? Officer, would you like to say anything?
Your Honor, we do have someone on Zoom.
All right, well, then are they in the flesh? You want to talk?
It'll just be an audio.
We're gonna set the time at 3 minutes. Anything on or off the agenda, but be aware that we won't tolerate any kind of vulgarities or threats. So I will end the call.
Ms. Flores, are you there?
I'm having trouble right now. Can you give me 1 minute to get my computer working?
We'll allow for a few seconds for you to get that going.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble opening up. Okay, I'm ready. Can we start the timer?
You're good. Yeah, your timer starts now.
Okay, Chair Shelton and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Paul Flores, and I'm here to address serious concerns about transparency, accountability, and the composition of this body. How was Shelton even chosen as a chairperson? Mr. Stay in your lane with his coded prison talk. Mr. Shelton, I've formally contacted the Fresno and Tulare District Attorney's Public Integrity Units and the Tulare County Grand Jury, every city council member, the city attorney, and the city clerk to request your resignation. These actions reflect my deep concern over this committee's legitimacy. It seems like the committee only exists to reaffirm and follow orders from Daddy Meister, and everyone has to bow down to the blessings of liberty Christian nationalists who believe in nothing. Stacking up more legal charter items instead of housekeeping, the committee should actually exist for. The town is 75% Mexican and Mexican American. Where is the representation? I've researched and compiled biographies on nearly every member here, excluding Mr. Smotherman and Mr. Bowler. They pass my test. And it's clear this group doesn't represent Porterville interest. Instead of loosening rules for the city manager, we should be tightening them, along with standards for the committee membership. Several of you may not even reside in the town, raising ethical questions. I think you are perverted to think that the person deserves more when all the signs point to fraudulent inflation of that position. Blessings of Liberty, comprised of Mayor Flores, to be able to spend now over a year having a regular internal audit committee, and their fraud excuse is that you need a city manager in that committee. So now they pass budgets without even a regular audit committee, just like there's no real rhyme or reason to your committee except to offload responsibility for the dumb ideas and to make you complicit for their idiocy. For example, Shelton owns 14 properties worth probably about $2 million, including land near the rails to trails. This resembles the library's $600,000 land deal behind Vallarta, a transaction that exploited public funds. His bragging about land holdings at the first meeting suggests a conflict of interest, not civic duty. We must scrutinize all the members' property holdings with those 700s. Porterville deserves a charter committee free of self-interest. I urge you to reconsider your roles and the committee's direction. Thank you.
All right, good timing. All right, any other communications?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that being said, let's move on to scheduled matters. Approval of draft minutes of May.
Complete agenda package or?
Yeah, do we get the minutes?
They got sent to us through email.
Yeah, I didn't get one. I need to get three if you got one.
I mean, I have it electronically. but I don't-
Yeah, I don't have paper ones. I do only have, we do have some pay sheets if you'd like.
I can, how thick, I can read it real quick.
I assume we all looked at the minutes before we.
You assumed a lot if you assumed that for me. Have you got some minutes, want some minutes on it? Or are they got?
They don't have them. It was attached to the packet. I don't normally
Just
print
ask.
out any packets for
Okay,
anybody
in
that.
the future, we can do one for me because
Yeah.
I like to, I'm a tactile kind of guy. I'll just refrain from voting on the issue because I haven't really looked them over.
I have the pages here if you want to just read them.
And then we have this. Everybody's much more prepared than I am. That's pretty obvious.
Here's the last page, sorry, when the meeting we did right there, so. You're all at that finish.
Did I sign that? Oh, this is the one right here? Or just another meeting? Is it?
That's the last meeting.
It's, yeah, the one meeting was one page and the other one was 2 pages.
Oh, I see. Oh, so this is 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Was everybody able to review the minutes that were electronically sent?
Looks good to me.
Move to approve.
I'll make a second on that.
All right, call for the vote.
All right,
Go ahead, Fernanda. Everybody raise their.
everybody's okay, if you wanna, however you wanna do it.
Raise them. I'll do it.
Okay.
Everybody raise their hand or any opposed? Okay, passed unanimously. Review of meeting schedule. Thing I didn't do. What do you got?
So we have currently the meeting dates pre-scheduled for, not the one that's already happened, sorry, excuse me. But we have July 17th, August 21st, September 18th, October 16th, November 20th, and December 18th selected already.
So that's 2 weeks for the next one then.
Yeah, because this one was adjourned.
I like that and I like that because if we can get their stuff done, we get it in, then we can get it to the council and then we can just wait on whatever they want to do.
Correct.
That's my.
And if we need to call another one like this, we
Exactly.
can.
And then the next one is the 21st, so we go, it's a little over a month before the next, well, a month and it's 21st of August, say a little over a month. If we need to collapse it, we will. If we need to stretch it out, we can. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve the meeting dates that we already have set.
Just really quick before we get into that, as far as the meeting date for this month, are we? The July meeting,
Still on.
it's still the 17th, so we're still reading that.
What day is council?
Well, we've already.
The 15th.
15th.
Yeah, so this will be after the council meeting, so.
No, I'm just curious, because if since we're having a meeting today, are we also gonna continue to have the meeting on the 17th?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's because I'd like to get them in. as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
okay.
So read the dates to me again.
We have June, obviously it's past, July 17th, August 21st, 2025, September 18th, October 16th, November 20th, and December 18th.
We
said right for the
third Thursday?
Correct, third Thursday of each month.
Well, that gets us out, 1, 2, 3, like 6 minutes, 6, 7 minutes. I'm good with that.
So are we able to call in and vote in a meeting? And if so, how do we do that?
No, so unfortunately, so there's.
Let that cat in the bag.
You can technically you can post your location, but and do your voting and whatnot, but it has to be in a location that's accessible to the public. So let's say you go out and travel and you're at a hotel and you know that there's like a meeting room that anybody can access, as long as you give us the address and we post it on the agenda along with all of our other stuff, and it's posted 72 hours in advance and all of that, you're able to do so. However, there has to be a quorum of in-person people here still, regardless, yeah.
Now, does that mean, when you say public, I mean, so if he invites anybody that wants to attend over to his house, is that considered
No,
adequate?
you have to post it.
Well, no, so it has to be posted and accessible to the public. So the person, so like,
Traveling, you could just go to a restaurant or bar
correct.
Yeah,
And
and hang out and.
I always sometimes tell people,
Yeah, tell
be
them.
careful with these location postings because not everywhere is, let's say a meeting goes past 7:30. Some businesses or places are closing at that, so obviously it won't be, accessible. And at the time that you,
Starbucks.
Panera Bread, Starbucks, they got a little board.
yeah,
Round Table Pizza Factory.
but you are able to utilize that. There are also some just cause reasons that you can use it for as well. Like if you're seriously ill, have a medical emergency, you're caring for something, like something emergency happens. There is ways to do that without having to post it. But it has to be a legitimate need for that
Got it.
product accommodation.
Thank you for
That's
that.
interesting. I never knew that.
So the just cause thing is fairly new. It's actually, it was like maybe 2 years ago when.
Just cause thing.
Yeah.
Fernando, are we able to have a copy of those kind of guidelines for
Yeah.
future reference?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you.
That's not a good idea. We sat there with enough people and I would just send.
Yeah, just keep in mind, it does have to be a quorum in person for us to have voting and whatnot.
Okay, that was good.
There was a motion on the floor. I forgot who was it.
I motion to approve.
Do we have a
the
second?
dates as set.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All right, on the, Mr. Salah?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right, please note, Don. And he seconded, vote for me, please. I vote. Okay, unanimous. All right, I'm gonna do, before I do the scheduled matters, I'm gonna go a little out of sync here. Because Tom brought up a good thing, and I guess we could do it under the matters, maybe that will just move it on to the agenda. All right, so what we got, and do you have a list of, or suggestions?
Yeah, that I do have.
Thank you. Did everybody, you give them for everybody or just?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, thank you.
It's the same format, just email us at a different format.
It's the same.
Did you get the last?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna pass out right now. I just wanted to put it on the record.
I got this.
Pizza.
You need a pen?
I got one in my,
You got it.
I'll take it.
You need a pen?
I'll take it. Not like a big. I got one. Thank you. Oh, no, I did not. I lied. I did. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You win my pen.
Not your pen. Well, I did get one.
All right, and then additionally, and this is gonna be made up open to the public as well, as soon as I pass it on to you. It'll be available tonight for tonight's meeting, and anybody that does wish to request it can, if you'd like to, just to contact me. These are the additional ones that came through after the meeting and didn't was supposed to.
Is Kirby's in here too?
Yeah, these are in there, and then, so that's.
He did another one though this afternoon. Did you get that one?
Did not.
All right, I'll take care of it.
You just pass it down. We'll pass it down for you, man.
Oh.
You don't have to go. Oh,
That's
fine. And steps in.
I'll practice it on this side now. There you go.
Fast. Thank you, sir.
And then additionally, this is just some information that I did pick up from the registrar of voters office. This is basically the language that did go to the ballot at the last charter review. The one that actually went to the ballot, the one that everybody saw and voted on.
You ever get did you ever work on a big ask the last, for the mission statement or the purpose or the vision of this body? I thought I mentioned.
Yeah, the resolution and council.
Is that in here?
No, because we reviewed it that day.
Got it.
Yeah, so I didn't know that was if you want, I can send the resolution over, but that was the one that we pulled up that
Yeah.
same day.
Whereas,
So I wasn't sure if we were.
It's in it should be one of those packets. I think he sits in this packet right here.
Yeah, it's actually in
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, they found it for me.
I just like to get reset up every time I come in. Oh, yeah. Had already making plans, sir.
Big thing too. Oh, that's no.
This was included in. That word. I'll take that on. Yeah,
I'll take mine.
I printed everything. But it was,
Oh, look at that. Read something.
Said that resolution's in here, Fernando, and inside this. binder.
Yeah, it's the second,
Second tab.
yeah, or the second, this one, it's in the packet.
Oh, it's in the packet.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
No, wait,
I don't think it's in here.
no,
Sorry, it's in here.
I'm looking here.
I can get it. Yeah.
I think it's,
I thought it was in this packet, but it's not.
but I think it's in the original one. You guys pointed it out to me. I think Don found it. Did you find it down?
It's over now.
No, I don't
think it's in here.
think that one's in there.
We found it online and where we
Yeah, we read it.
Yeah, we read it
You have
online.
it screen, I think.
Um,
Yeah, I don't remember where it came from.
I can print them out right now. It's not a
Please.
problem.
Yeah. All right, we may discuss this, we're probably not gonna discuss this and I'll tell you what, or this until later meeting. So it's just academic, but what we are gonna do is, so I count 35-ish, 36-ish. You get a number of these off the top of your head? 5, 9. I know, we did it on purpose. It's 31. I got 31 and I think Ed had a couple of them, 32, 33. 6 people here.
I think there's.
Yeah, I just plugged. If there's somebody who wants to get it. Scare me like that.
We've got support, we've got support.
No, what about the ghost that lives down here? There's a ghost that lives down here.
Oh, yeah, I try not to think about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got like 33-ish. I think we've got seven members. Alex isn't here. And I don't know when if he's gonna be back before the
He's
next
on
meeting.
vacation, right?
Hmm?
I think he's on vacation.
Yeah, he's on vacation and he told me about it. So that leaves about 6 of us. No, at least 7, 1, 2, yeah, 6 of us. So I think what we're gonna do, and this is my plan, take some input from you, is we're gonna give everybody 6 of them. And basically this format that Fernando provided right here, which is actually right here in a lot bigger type so I can read it. What I want to do is these ideas right here. And if you look at the format, it's got a preamble. It says, should the charter be amended to provide the so far, so whatever. So so the thing that I want to give to the council was basically those same 5 words and then just inserted in them what they gave us. And that way, instead of us going through a bunch of hypotheticals, going to have them shoot them down later, I'm going to have them shortlisted for us so that we can focus on just the ones that they want. The number is supposed to be about 5, but I got a feeling it's going to get bigger because I'm getting more and more requests. But at least initially, like I'll give you an example. It should say, should the citizens of Porterville decentralize the city attorney? Boom, that's it. That's all I want to see in there. There's some extrapolation here, but I don't really know that we want that. You probably should, only because what we're going to do is whatever they gave us, we're going to give back. We're not going to get accused of changing anything. We're not going to get accused of interpreting anything. We're not going to get accused of for whatever reason playing politics with it, because that's what will happen. And so anyway, so I want to just verbatim. I don't even care. I don't even give a rip if the syntax is wrong. And then we're going to give them to them. And if they want to criticize us for bad spelling, well, that's kind of on them because they spelled it wrong.
well, and I was looking at them, a lot of them have overlapping ideas, so that's good because we need to give it back to them for the priority.
Right. And I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'm sure I looked through it. Anyone have a conflict of interest on anything proposed?
You know, an ad hoc committee, and since we're not doing any money, you know, it'd be possible to have one of all people would be me or you. Do you see anything we would have a conflict with?
Me.
Oh, I didn't think about
Yeah,
it.
Clayton's on it.
You got one, Clayton?
So if there are, I think we identify him and then talk about him when he's not here.
Wait, don't leave the room.
Well, at the end.
I mean, like the C train ordinance, you have a C train right now, would that be a conflict of interest?
You know, I was on it and I had a C train. I didn't vote on it just out of caution. But again, we're not voting anything as opposed to, I think this is our.
Well, yeah, what you said was, we're just taking them, write it down, so we're not, whether our conflict, we're just transcribing.
I don't see it.
No, I don't think so. And the fear is we'll redo it if there's a perception, because the argument gets to be is like, and my understanding of it, just because you have one, if it's something that, you know, only exclusively you have, it's one thing, but if it's something that everybody's allowed to have, just because they don't have it, you know, just because you have it, somebody else, that doesn't necessarily give you a conflict. I mean, you know, you have the right to have a C train, just because you choose not to, that's up to you. I mean, and you want something that either helps you or hurts you specifically. Not everybody's at home, but regardless, that's a good question. Now, bringing that up, maybe we should look at these real quick. For decentralizing the city attorney, deregulate code enforcement. Boy, I would have a conflict with that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, deregulate code enforcement because
Okay.
I manage that.
So I thought there may be one.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, what I'm gonna do on this one, Clayton, is we're gonna pass these out. I'm gonna make sure that's not the question you get. How's that sound?
That's fine.
Legal tender, freedom, gold or silver, key elements, voluntary use, blah, 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 blah. Property protection and institutional land grab clause. Emergency powers and local autonomy.
That's your question, Greg?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's your question.
You got it.
And excuse me. So I'm reading what we're tasked here to do.
No, you're reading what the resolution says.
Yeah, so the resolution says, we're making recommendations to them.
Mhm.
Is this what you mean by making, is this what you mean by making recommendations, taking their recommendations and then giving it to them as we're making?
Yes, I'm recommending, I'm not omitting any of them. I'm not saying you shouldn't look at this. I'm not passing an opinion. I'm recommending right back to you what you recommended to me. You know, is it
For
redundant?
priority, for
Yeah.
prioritization.
Okay, however, for whatever, for priority, which is right, because the reality, see, we don't want to, it says this, and we want to, you know, everybody wants to reinterpret it their way, but I can tell you that it's what I call mission creep, where we start out with this idea, and before we do it, we're up to here. There's plenty of time for that. They may not want to hear our opinion, even though our recommendation is like, listen, thank you, Mr. Salah, duly noted. I don't give a rip. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, and I was on the first Measure H committee, and we found that we were the oversight committee, and they didn't do their duty, and we voted to not sanction it. And they basically told us, thank you for your service. We disagree with you. We're doing it anyway. That's kind of where you're at in that, you know. Got mad at the time. That's the way it goes. Now, that being said, like I'm saying, there's too many of these here anyway. This is a
Yeah,
blessing.
these all came from them.
They did, but this is a blessing, because do you want to dissect 31 of these? I'm going to have to say that 25 of them, thanks for all that work, but we're not going to proceed with that one. You understand? Now, you're welcome to do whatever extra work you want.
No,
I'm just offering.
I'm just reading this, because this is why I asked for none of them. I'm just reading this and I'm hearing what you're saying. We took recommendations from the council, and we're gonna write word by word what
They're
they
good recommendations.
and give it right back to them.
They're good
Are we
recommendations.
repackaging it and saying that?
Well, not yet, not until they narrow it down.
If I understand correctly, the council didn't send this to us. The individual council members did.
Okay,
So rather than us working on 30 items, we're gonna send it back to council to see what they want to work on
okay.
collectively. We don't want to research and come up with wording on one of these items.
Oh, no, I'm not even worried about these. I'm worried about trying to review. Our job is to look at maybe how when we first met and how Alex found some things. We give it to them. Hey, here's what we found. And it's up to you guys.
But we haven't
This
been
is
passed.
starting the process.
Yeah.
And if one of them
So we
said,
have
hey,
something to work on.
And one of them said, hey, what do you think of the Charlie housekeeping? And then I'll give my opinion. But until that time,
Yeah, I don't have room for opinion here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, in reading this and what I see here, I just don't want a situation where I'm being given something to repackage for them and say, hey, this is my idea. This is what we found. This was our recommendation for you to change.
I'm recommending that, and these guys over here, God bless them, they're better than I am
Yeah.
for priorities. And I'm recommending, you tell me the priorities, and even the priorities, if they say, listen, thank you for the priority, thanks for putting them in a cohesive form, thanks for gathering us for them, we'll take it from here, then I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to do is if you want more work, and I'm actually for a little more work, I want them to trust that we're not gonna go out on a tangent and start trying to, tell the council what they need.
No, I think the idea was, and my understanding was, there was a lot of good stuff that happened, a lot of productivity that happened in our first meeting. We found things that were contradicting to what they're doing. And so what I heard you and Alex talk about is, hey, we're gonna show you, this is your charter. There's some things that are out of, that you're not complying with. Here you go. We reviewed the chart. So I think we kind of did that. I think we kind of already reviewed the current charter. Have we completed review?
No,
of current?
I haven't. No, have you? I haven't looked at it.
No, yeah, so I thought that was the thing, like, review the charter. Give them recommendations, hey, here's the things that are in the charter, like, a good example is I think it still says in the charter about the voting.
Yes.
Which, if you look at their suggestions.
Yeah.
Some of
Somewhere in
that's a multiple thing.
Yeah.
So before we go looking for things, let's get the priority from them because it may encompass some of the things we're gonna
Yeah.
put out there. So, and some of them have varying ideas on that. So that's why we want to kind of put it back to them so they can look at it as a body,
Got it.
not as individuals giving us individual tasks.
Got it.
Once we get their priorities from the body, then we can say, okay, these are the priorities they want us to focus on. And as we get those done, yes, there's a couple of other cleanup things that, could potentially need to be done. And that if they're not covered, right? And they may not care about that. They may care about it.
Yeah,
Well, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate you, thinking out, outside the box and everything, but at least at this stage in the game, what's going on here, and as a concession, I am going to probably mention that. But I've mentioned it a couple times now, and so far I haven't got one back yet. So that tells us maybe they don't want me to look at these things. Now, if you're concerned about that, again, you're welcome to.
No, I'm just, every time I come in this room, I try to do my job to ground myself into what the resolution is. That's all I'm doing. That's brought up my concern that
No.
I don't want to step outside of the
I'll read the
resolution.
interpretation. I understand interpretation. I interpret it somewhat that way too.
Got it.
But I also, my experience in politics tells me that they'll tell us what they want us to do, and we will do what they tell us. And then if they say, listen, you've done a great job, would you mind doing some more? At that point, I'm going to ask anybody that doesn't, if anyone's had enough of it and they want to quit, they're welcome to. If they want to stick around, Clayton's got some good ideas about, because down the road, getting out and getting in a package is one thing. Selling it is a whole nother thing. And I was going to go into that a little later, but I probably won't. Some of these failed because they weren't properly marketed. Now, that's not in the purview of this thing. We're not supposed to decide strategies to pass our things, but I may offer it as an option to the council, and if they want us to pursue it, then I will. And if they don't, then I'm done.
That's what the
I
recommendation.
get a glare from Tom over there, like, well, yeah, nah.
Thank you for the time. Thank you.
No, don't tell me you're doing fine. You're doing fine. I don't want you thinking that I'm trying to squash you or anything.
No.
I'm just saying that the fastest way to get squashed is to overinterpret, what your position is. And then all the good goes out the window,
Well, and I just don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
or them,
Now-
for sure.
Some of the stuff is covered,
Yeah.
but we need to understand what their priority is. Is that the priority they want us to work on?
So
As a body, because that's the thing is we have to be cautious not to take specific direction from an individual. We take direction from the body as a group.
That being said, and because I got in trouble a lot of times, as a citizen, you have every First Amendment right to go up and redress anything you see wrong, much like Mr. Flores, you know what I mean, and such like that. But as a committee, and again, I had a hard time doing this when I was on committee. As a committee, we got to do what we're said to do, no more, unless we're directed to do more. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, stop this. I'm saying.
when they come back with their priorities,
Yes.
can they at least give us the sections and the articles to where we can find them? Because the way it's written out right now, it would take us 2 days in the charter to find.
Some of the stuff's not in the charter.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's not in there, it'd be
Yeah.
new stuff.
We would have to literally write or get someone to write a whole new clause. See, the charter is very abbreviated. And so
Right.
most of the stuff, I don't, the two or three that are actually still have something in the charter that they're relevant about, I don't even think that the guys that submitted realized it was in the, that it had already been in the charter. I can tell you a couple of them, the suggestions, like, we tried that before. We tried that one charter ago and it failed miserably. So we can try it again, but go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It's a good idea. So when council sends us back however many and they prioritize them, I would assume the city clerk has a pretty good reference to the city charter.
Not any better than us, probably. You haven't read it either, have you?
So would that be?
I've read sections of it.
Would that be a staff?
So-
to Identify the sections?
I'm thinking Clayton.
I can,
I think it just depends on what kind of amendments. Because there are gonna be some that probably don't reference anything, but I mean, if we can identify certain sections of the charter that it would like pretty much affect. I don't think that would be hard to figure that out.
Well, at that point, you would say, should the charter be, modified, should clause such according to read the following, or some such
well,
like that.
that's, what I did is I took the liberty to copy these, and I've already started that whole process.
I knew you would.
So it sounds like Clayton's got it.
So, yeah, like,
It's got 30, we got.
so for this one, for example, should the Porterville City Charter add a provision recognizing voluntary use of gold and silver as valid money? Right?
Yeah.
Should we add something to it? And then the other one, should it be amended, like with the elections? Should the Porterville City Charter be amended to include X, Y, and Z as it relates to their ideas for the elections, right?
Right.
And so essentially, that's what we want to give back to them, like Greg is saying. We want to get it right back to them and go, okay, here's all of the ideas that you gave us. We took those ideas, we put them into some verbiage that would look like what the voters are going to see.
Yeah.
Now, please prioritize those because some of you are overlapping, but that overlap may very well not be a priority for two of them, but it is for one. And as a body, when they give us the priority, those two may override that one. And so if we're taking direction from a single council member, we put all this effort into one thing, and as a body, they don't really care about that.
Correct.
And so,
Write these up, send them back to them as a body, they'll narrow it down and agree what they agree on.
yeah,
Agree
and
anyway,
then
right?
we know, okay, they're already covering this, because we may look at it and the ideas we had, oh, well, they're already covered.
Got it.
And then we've got some extras, things that they want to add,
Yeah.
and then like Greg was mentioning, like the last charter review committee, the cleanup language didn't get approved. I don't know how you package cleanup verbiage and it doesn't get approved by the voters, but there's some ideas of getting the word out there so that the people understand what they're voting on. So it's like, yeah, the cleanup stuff should go through automatically.
Yeah.
If it's not already included in the priorities that they give us.
We're talking about things that may be in there that the city's not adhering to right now. So
Correct.
So instead of the city adhering to the current charter, they'll get the charter changed.
Correct.
Got it.
But that's what
There's probably gonna be like verbiage, just verbiage, maybe some typos that might be.
Yeah.
Something, clean up in that.
Stuff that's archaic, it says you shall
Yeah.
use the fax machine. It's like, listen, we don't use the fax machine anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is let's just make sure that their priorities aren't already covering those things
Got it.
before we expend a bunch of effort. And that not only that, because right now it's just a list of ideas, but they're seeing it in the format that the voters are gonna see it.
Right.
Should the city charter be amended? Should the
Is it
city
too
charter
So when we
add
add
this?
we hand it back to them as here is your list back that we just edited.
Right, because they may,
Yeah, we,
Not here's our recommendation.
we, no, we have recommendations on it yet.
Okay.
because some of these ideas, they may talk with legal
Got it,
counsel,
got it.
and legal counsel tells them that stuff's covered in the city code. You don't even need to put that in the charter.
Got it.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
By just creating this, because they're not gonna know what each other recommended, because these are individual city council recommendations. So it's just gonna be all brought together for them to prioritize, decide, have the
Got it.
city attorney,
Got it.
the
Because they
input.
may not be talking to each other.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Don, for bringing that up, because Fernando and I took great pains to, anonymize this.
Anonymized.
Anonymize this, so that no one would be, well, you put all his together, or
That's
you
good
pick it.
information now.
Yeah, so what happens is, so as it goes in, we don't know who wrote it. We don't know who wrote it. We don't care. You know what I mean? If it's a good idea, you tell us and we will research it. At that point, if you want to, solicit, more work, you're very much welcome to do it.
I'm here to
But,
follow the,
But, and I don't want to go too much on, because I got to bet I wouldn't get this meeting done, but I'll give a good example of an example, right? Here's one that you talked about on the cleanup, and it said, this is so small. It says, should the charter, and this is probably the smallest one on here, and probably the most benign one, should the charter be amended to make certain technical, non-substantive revisions which do not materially alter, increase, or decrease the home rule powers of the city of Porterville? It just says, can we clean it up? It lost.
That's what I'm saying. It lost because it wasn't packaged. in
Too many big
context for
words.
People to understand it.
Too many big words and it scared people.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So you need to say, listen, if you want to do this, let us, and at that point, again, if I don't run to any of you guys off, I said, let me write you a sentence up that maybe won't be so intimidating to Joe Regular.
so right now, are we gonna?
We're not gonna do that right now. We're just,
Give us the priorities and then we'll focus.
Okay, so we're sending this back without doing the work yet?
yeah.
I've got 31.
Yeah.
We may get 57 back, or we may get,
Don't say that.
5
Make it
back.
fine.
Yeah, it's okay, well, they give us, we'll
If
write
you get
them up,
5
write them
back,
up.
then I'm happy, because
Sure.
5 is just a lot less
Okay,
work.
okay, so I hear you, so.
You get what you're saying? So it's not some conspiracy to try to.
So this is going back, so this is going back as is.
No, it's going back, instead of in a format, shut.
You want us- Okay, so you're gonna divide
Verbatim.
them. Okay, so we're gonna divide them up.
And then we're gonna divide, we're gonna, and another attempt to nominalize them, did I say that right again? Nominalize them. I'm gonna put a number on this thing for that one right there, and then we're gonna draw for them. And then whoever you get, you got, and it doesn't matter who it was, and I want you to write it back out, it's pretty, you're just gonna, regurgitate it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that way, no one claims that someone got the easier ones or the better ones, or that someone was working at, trying to
Wait a
manipulate.
minute, so how do you
Watch.
explain this process to me? So it's 31, right?
Yeah, well, they got different
Well,
numbers.
now we've got more added to it, but basically it's just taking those like I did here and just writing
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Right, if they're already in the charter, should it be amended? If they're not in the charter, should the charter add a provision for this?
So there's some work we need to do, we need to do some.
Yeah, basically just kind of, a little bit of research, a little bit of typing, which I've done most of it except what Fernando handed me tonight.
Oh my God, you already done it for
Already
me?
done it.
I'll take
I
that.
got it.
Send
I
it
got it.
file to me.
I got it.
all.
Yeah,
Then, yeah, wait, hold on, what is it in the?
because it's I've got my notes in here and I don't want to pass that out. I
I'm
mean,
not gonna give them to all of us.
as these progress, so when we get that list back, I've got my ideas that are prompted.
So maybe as you assign these out, my best friend, you can say,
So-
and
Can I cheat off your word?
Yeah,
to the, as we call them out, when
yeah.
I get my homework, you can say. That way I don't have to read it again.
I
It's
am.
like a group project. but
So
only one
like
person does it.
decentralizing the attorney.
Say it again?
It's like a group project. It's only one person does it because it's there.
You get the overachiever. We're not, listen, we're not gonna copy out me, we're just coming up with the smart guy.
To allow the city to retain.
They're gonna copy out this dumb
Right,
guy.
we want to amend that.
Yeah. So how are we gonna,
He's gonna
I
write
do have
down.
one question,
Go
Greg. The new form that Fernando gave us on the back. There is and I understand what our task is right now, but there is one that says that it's from all council members. So I'm a little curious how we would handle that one, because that's not from
So sounds like
individual
question.
anonymous council member.
This would clarify this, well, the majority that votes the 5, that is the one that's like all council members, whether or not only 3 of them voted for it or not, that is the majority. That is now the council's, if that's what you're asking.
So that's gonna be, from my understanding was that this was a proposal that encompassed all council. This is what they want.
Well, this is the one from,
This is from today.
Right, this is one
Yeah, so
today, because
It's
All
not
of
any
the other
specific,
ones.
yeah, it's not any specific council member. It's
Except
just, it's for everyone.
so it'd
Okay.
still be nice if they voted on it on the list anyway.
yeah, and
understood.
again, it's still gotta make the first round before I worry what it says.
Yeah,
Understood.
because it's got a.
It was just it was the only one that wasn't an individual
Yeah.
list submission from an individual member of council, so I wanted to be
Yeah.
clear.
No, you're great. It came to
Because
this
that
board.
was an anonymous process,
Right.
yes.
Again, all these things are just because in my long life of politics, every absurd thing that you think can happen will happen. And So I would like to be ready for it. That's okay. Done it out here.
I tried turning on the AC, but I don't know how to work that thing. It's
What's that?
the AC.
That was the whole point of being
We
here.
got a new one,
Chairs,
But I thought this one was
chairs,
supposed-
chairs.
well, it's supposed to be a new, yeah, I don't really know how that works really.
There it doesn't go.
We have a pro in the room.
Yeah. Sarah, I probably got an extra one, a couple extra ones if you want to do them.
Always assign people who aren't here.
What was that? That's that.
Volunteer.
Would
Who aren't.
Officer, you like to do a couple? No, you're good?
Should take a couple and add an extra one.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
I'm glad that we're giving a finite number because I have been through what I call busy work many times only to have it shot down.
Yeah, it's not as intuitive as it looks.
It's because the touchscreen doesn't make it.
They're done setting them up.
Well, I messed with it earlier and it was off and I did. And it worked, it just stopped. And I'm not sure if it's because of how,
Program because nobody's in here.
yeah, well, I don't know
I
if it's.
think they automatically shut it off. We paid for it. And they automatically shut it off. Like there's no humans here. I don't know. I imagine you're gonna override it.
Drink lots of water.
Well, I'm almost done here, guys, so.
What was the bet? Was it an hour or what was the bet?
Hour and a half is what I think, but I'm hoping for an hour. Where are we at, officer? How far?
44 minutes?
43? Apologize. That's sooner.
Well, I don't know that we'll have everything done tonight to go to that meeting on the, what is it, the 15th? Well, no, the council.
No, we can submit these to Fernando or you as we get them done and we can have them for that meeting.
So. I mean, I'm almost done. I could just finish them and submit them to Fernando and then he can put them out for review. I can have.
Do we really want to show everything on Clayton?
I can have, but
If you have it,
it's already done and I can have it finished by Monday. I mean, I just have to work tomorrow night and then.
That's just cheating,
No, it's
guys.
not. It's a member who.
my homework is.
I'm gonna make a motion for that if you guys will vote.
No, I need to add those. I'll have to add those, but that's relatively.
So it sounds like they're all done except for
That's
the other
a,
ones.
that's the best suggestion I've heard all night.
Well, then you can make.
So I have a question on Councilman Beltran's supports and does not support. How do we word?
So. when
Yeah, I asked
did
him amendment for something he
let me get to
Scott,
them.
did anybody have any input from Mr. Beltran, Scott?
With what he doesn't support, it's not looking like what.
But we're specifically asking
What does he
for
want?
recommendations on changes.
Right.
So Councilman Green has
Council.
the increase,
So,
Right.
so
And so does he.
here's my
yeah,
input.
that's not an issue. The issue or the question I have is, I don't know how I consider does not support. That's discussion at the corporate level, not ours.
But that's,
So-
but the thing is those things are covered that he does not support by other council members, and when they vote as a body, he'll be able to vote on them.
Correct.
So the only one that I would rewrite for this one is increasing, it would be, he's included in the multiple people that have put in increasing the threshold.
So there'll be no,
Yeah.
Is there a chart? So is there?
It won't be a no detraction, it'll just be, he can support those openly in, when those ideas come through. The only thing that's gonna change that I see is that everyone so far has proposed from 5 to 50, except Councilman Green. proposed 5 to 10, and he said or more appropriate amount. So there will be 2 that I write. Should it be meant to allow this from 5 to 50 or from 5 to 10 or another amount? And then if they decide, yeah, we want to go with his recommendation, we don't want to go with 10, we want to go with 15, we think that's more appropriate. And then as a group, they vote on that one, then we've got that and we know.
So Ray will be represented by at least one question is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, his information is in there, but it's
It's a duplication.
It's a
I got it. But my
duplication.
point,
Yeah.
I don't want Ray to think that,
Right.
that's why I want,
No, he's being represented.
okay, that's what I want to know. That's
Is there
what I
something
need.
in the charter about that talks about the council discretionary fund?
I don't believe that they have one in there right now specifically that says a discretionary fund. So that one would be, should the Porterville City Charter be amended to contain a provision that allows.
It is, and that's how you can write.
But they have a discretionary.
Yeah,
fund.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's a way to.
Yes, and others have mentioned that. Like I said, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah,
So
that's
what
how-
I
that's
did
how
is
you get it.
I did this, and then what I'm gonna do now is basically, because I've got them by color by the council members. And so then I can put them side by side, so I can
Amazing.
say, all of these are the same.
Yeah.
Boom, that's done. All of these are the same, and then all of these are just in there. And they'll be in no
Yeah.
particular order when they come back.
Okay.
So I can, if that's what the body wants, I can do that, and if not, if you want to split it up, we can split it up.
Would it
Okay.
help if we took care of the ones that we got?
I do have a question,
Sure.
and it's just because of inquiring minds want to know.
Mhm.
So, these ideas that have come from the individual council members,
Mhm.
are they basing these requests on substantive information that they've received from other charter cities in the state of California? Do we know that? Is it relevant?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Yeah, it could be just an idea that somebody woke
It
up
could
in the
be a
middle of the
whim.
night and wrote on a napkin next to their bed.
fair enough.
And that's kind of their prerogative, believe it or
Yeah.
not. But I mean, their argument is this, is that they represent the people, they got elected, which they did. They think, at least for their constituency, that they have a pretty good handle on what they want. And I mean, it's still kind of like the same argument the state of California does. But in lieu of that, that is kind of their prerogative. And so far, a lot of them, I don't think they're, I'm not saying,
Let's keep our personal opinions out of this, my friend. We're objective.
I'm not saying which ones.
We're here to do a job.
So I like the one where Clayton does all the work, I can tell you that. But I was gonna say, Dom, and this goes kind of back to what you're saying, is once we get narrowed down to those 5, you guys have some really good questions about those. We might schedule a little report with the council and ask them, listen, we've got about half a dozen questions about the 5, you narrowed them down.
Yeah.
And maybe get some more clarity so we can.
Well, again, so right now in my
Yeah.
understanding of this, right now, we're giving this to them, give us your priorities. We'll review those priorities. Some of them may be cut and dried. Some of them we may go back and go, we have a little bit of we want a better understanding of what your expectation is from this. And if you can give us that, then we know where to start doing our individual research and figure out to bring back to them. And then bring back, again, the proper verbiage because maybe we want to change something. They want something changed because we have an idea that this might sell to the general public better if it's worded like this, as opposed to all of that language that that Greg talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That people just don't understand.
And that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
Because if they can give the city, the people of our city, some perspective on why they think this is a good idea based on what they've read, what the statistical outcome was when these things were tried in other charter cities, that will give the language that these other things didn't give, and which is why they weren't passed.
That's what we think.
For sure, we think,
So
yeah.
we're citizens on it, and then to
Right.
kind of expand on what Clayton said, and instead of getting too far of mission creep, maybe we come up with three sentences. This one like this, and maybe they pick one and then have them tweak that a little bit. And then there was a suggestion, which again was Clayton's suggestion, is that, once we get these approved, maybe we're on hiatus, maybe 6 months from now, as we get closer to election, we start trying to offer to sell them in terms of we go to the Freedom Fest next year and we've got a table for the charter members, whoever wants to go, and say, this is what we got coming up. What does this mean? This is what it means. And I got some positive responses from the guys I talked to and said, I think that's a great idea. So my point is, We gotta get there though first.
Sure.
First, we gotta get it shortlisted down, and then, like I said, at that point, before I give us too much work and get you guys to jump, to abandon ship because it's too much work, I wanna do it where everybody's, not feeling overwhelmed. So far, Clayton, you've really done all this work already?
It's all there.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do then, go ahead.
This is, him having done this work is not any violation of any rule or law to your knowledge, Fernando. Okay, I just wanted to be clear.
Okay.
And each one of us could individually, like I said,
Sure.
I started this with the intent for me to get an understanding and start putting my basic questions down. But since I did it in that format, I mean, it's really just, I
I
can
just
finish,
wanted to be clear.
I can finish it up and have it to Fernando by Monday, and then he can submit it to the group, and then
As
And
long
we're
as
on
he
it,
sends
we're
it
on
to
the agenda
Fernando,
next,
then
yeah.
Fernando's been distributed accordingly.
By the next agenda, we can adopt it, send it to the council, and then we sit back and let the council decide what they want. Could they have it done back to us in 2 weeks? Could it meant, could be 6 months.
Sure.
I don't care.
it depends on, their priorities.
Right.
So
Cross up.
are we thinking about meeting earlier and meeting?
No, we're gonna well, I was thinking we
We're gonna get
can,
it Monday, 72 hours notice.
gonna do that fast.
I think we want to get it to them.
I'm good at it. Well, that's
Well, again, right now, as far as review them, you'll have a chance to review them, and then we'll have a chance to vote on them to go to the council. I'm kind of in agreement with Tom. Let's get them to them, because really, right now, we're just looking for them to prioritize. So,
There's nothing to vote on. We're just sending them clean up on their list, right?
well, we're sending, we're voting on
We're gonna take-
one, that we all agree as a group that I didn't just do something unilaterally and submit it to the council.
Do you want to try to get it done tonight? Can we do
No,
that?
I don't want to try to get it done tonight.
Clayton, yes,
So I don't, it sounds like you guys are reaching a consensus of what you guys want to do. Do you guys just want to reiterate what the plan is? So that way everybody's on the same page, and that way I am also,
yeah. Well, I think so far what seems to be evolving here is that if Clayton's are good enough, I think we should look at them real quick. Or maybe actually we'll spend the next 2 weeks. Maybe we stick to the 17th, maybe we do it next week. That'll be a question for other matters. Whatever date we decide, the next one, if provided there's enough time, we have enough time to review it, okay with it. So say we do 1 week from now, we do a meeting, we say Clayton stuff is good, put it on next available.
Did you mean to give it to me so that way it's ready for the 17th?
No.
Or you mean having a meeting next week?
I mean to give it to you, so if you want to distribute it
Before the 17th.
before the 17th on an agenda, so so you have it in time. to get
Okay,
it out
I
on
thought
an
you meant you
agenda.
were trying to
So
put
this
agendize the
body
meeting
has
next
time
week.
to review it,
Okay.
so at the meeting, we can
No, yeah.
vote on it. Now, I think what Tom's saying is could we do a meeting before the 15th and put it on their agenda and have them and kind of fast track?
There's election.
No, that's a
No.
council
So then we're
Thursday,
right here.
but is there another
Because we
day?
get
next
it
week
done,
that would work?
and then at that point, we have either time to sit around for 6 months and then wait till it gets closer. Or let the council decide, do they want us to start marketing now? Do they want us to market for 6 months? But my point is we can stretch this out and have these deals for the next 6 months. It's gonna be the same net thing as what we're doing in 2 weeks, and it just gets our work done sooner.
I mean, I'm good with just putting it off, getting it on an agenda for you to review by the 17th, and then it goes to the next council.
Yeah, I think that's probably,
Yeah.
with more meetings. it's-
So a month and a half or 7 days.
17th
The
would
17th
happen.
meeting.
More meetings.
17th would happen.
The 17th, this one.
I would.
Yeah,
Council's not gonna meet between then.
no, we just, instead of bringing it back next week, we can
That's
just.
my point. Get it to council. If we do it next week, it will be to council
On the 15th.
3 weeks earlier than.
Waiting till the
I just don't know what the hurry is to get it to council sooner.
Why not?
Earlier.
What's the?
Well,
We can start working on it, and because if we get these things done in a relatively.
Hey, wait for a minute. I'm sorry, Scott.
Can we review what Clayton has finished?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I'll let you guys take a look. I just didn't kind of want it out like,
It hasn't gone to
Published.
Fernando yet.
yeah.
Can we-
No, it hasn't gone to Fernando yet. We have to follow.
So as soon as you allow that to be given to the committee, we have to give it to everyone and the
Yeah.
public.
And that's what I want to wait to give it to.
Right.
Fran.
We'll do it.
Like I said,
Unless-
I've got notes in here. and stuff.
Give you time to finish it and then you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get it, then pop
Yeah.
on the 17th.
Cause I'll just pull all the questions out and stick them in there. All of them.
Also, we've already voted and agreed on the dates. So
Yeah.
let's just stick to
Stick
the
to the-
dates because we've already voted and agreed on it. So
I'm good with that.
All right. So to reiterate, in a minute, pending a vote, we're going to vote to accept Clayton's doing our work for us. And then we're gonna vote to put it on the agenda for the 17th for review, and assuming that we like it, it's then gonna be submitted to the city council at the next available city council meeting. Is that for shortlisting? Is that correct?
Yes,
You wanna clean that
I
up?
mean,
No?
I probably would word it just that you guys will review it for the next meeting. Without having to put in the fact that you're gonna, because you might not make a decision to take it to council at all that day, so I don't want you guys.
For further action.
So the motion is,
So the motion would probably be to bring back,
Well, the first motion is, are we gonna allow to use Clayton?
yeah, okay, so I guess we can do this, we could create a motion to accept,
Just appoint Clayton to do the
yeah,
paperwork.
to do the.
Because we haven't seen it, so how can we approve his thing? We're not allowed to see it.
Yeah.
So we'll make a motion, to appoint Clayton to correlate and the list of councilman suggestions.
Second.
I'll make a motion of that. Second.
second.
All right, second. All right, Tom.
He seconded it. Tom seconded it.
Okay. Tom,
Yeah, I approve.
Drew, Tom, Clayton, Scott, John, Greg, I vote. You know what? I'm gonna vote no. Because then that way I can say I felt guilty about this. It's gonna be a conscience on the council. Sometimes you can lose and you can win. You guys are gonna learn it.
Who was the second?
Tom is the second.
Who was the first?
I made the motion.
You made the motion.
And then vote against it.
And he voted against his own motion.
You can do that. Absolutely. You can absolutely do that.
Sometimes that's the strategy.
That's right.
Bring it back.
You can bring it back. You're in the prevailing side, you can. Anyway, all right, so that was the first one. So now we burden Clayton with extra work, okay. Yeah, I know, but still, I voted no, I gotta feel guilty about it. So now the next motion will be so that we have we put on the agenda, now should we do it on other matters, or can we do it now?
You could do.
That we put on the next agenda, which is the 17th, weeks from now, to review the information Clayton has correlated for further recommendations. That recommendation could be to table it, the recommendation can be to amend it, or it can be to advance it to the city council.
No motion to approve.
Motion, second?
Second.
Scott and Tom, the vote, Mr. Salah?
So the motion is to bring back Scott's, Clayton's, list
Right,
of the council's proposals for
Right.
review.
right. Good action, Mr. O'Sullivan, yes, Mr. Bigman, yes, Scott Boy, yes.
Yes.
Bennett. Yeah, I agree with that one.
Housekeeping.
Motion passed.
Housekeeping, do you want to bring up housekeeping now? You want to open that can of worms, or
We do.
what do we want on our agenda before I do that?
We worked on the.
Also, is that gonna go ahead and complete your,
Scheduled matters.
matter 3, right?
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and go into other matters.
Go ahead, Tom.
We did the housekeeping on the alternates, they're gonna enter a meeting if one of us is not here. We didn't discuss a vice chair.
Oh, yeah,
I think we need to put that on the next.
Next news, well, you want to wait until Alex gets back for that?
When, how many months is Alex
Well,
gone?
he'll be gone probably 4 weeks, so it'll be when I can put it on there and we can table
That's
it.
fine.
Okay, all right.
Put it on for August.
We'll put it on, you want to put it for August?
Yeah.
I can put it on for the next one, we can table it.
No, he's not.
Let's put it on for August.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah, I would make a motion.
All right, I make a motion, the consideration of reorganization of the committee into create and appoint a vice chair position. And that'll be at the first, I guess, but when is the August one, 21st?
Yes.
Yeah, it's.
We change our minds at the next meeting, we can, which there isn't any more in between. We want to do it when there. But when are you going on vacation?
Not any time, nothing major, I think, coming up. I'll double check all the dates and make sure I don't have any conflicts, but I don't think so.
I'll find out when Alex is gonna come back to. I'd like to get Alex in this stuff. Okay, so that was a housekeeping there.
Oh, we have a motion on the floor.
Oh, yeah, do we have a second? Who seconded that? I have a motion to,
You made the motion?
Yeah.
First, second.
We need first. Who, do you?
Let me-
Yeah.
Discuss reorganization for creating a vice chair.
Discussion.
Discussion, go ahead.
Why are we waiting for Alex to return?
Because it's just,
I'll give my interpretation.
Okay.
What I found with these bodies is if you're not here, you often get voted into the position. And that's not fair to you to Alex. So let's just wait till we're all at the table and the person who's not here doesn't get.
that is not my.
And you vote, the person's not here to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't make another volunteer all the time. You volunteer.
Fix this.
We want him to be present and have a vote, so.
That's not, for the record, that's not my intention. My intention more is.
Give an opportunity to get.
We've got the core group and I'd rather have a full thing. I would rather something as important as this. That being said, though, if we need someone to buy snacks, I think I'd make notion that we volunteer somebody, preferably Alex, you know what I mean? No, that's just being facetious. My point is that's how you would
I
do
was
it.
waiting for Don to bring some baked goodies. I was hoping she was starting to like
I
us.
keep forgetting about it.
Can we vote on that motion? That
No,
motion.
I dropped my motion. I dropped my
No
motion.
motion?
Wait,
Next. There was a
so
motion.
there was a motion and a second. We still have
Discussion, so we need to take a vote.
ask for discussion. You guys wanna?
There you go with your.
I'm
answer.
completed with discussion.
All right, then I'm gonna call for the vote. Mr. Slaw, yay. Mr. Sullivan, yay. Clayton, yay. Mr. Bowler, yay. Don,
Yay.
yay. I say yay.
Motion passes 6-0.
Yeah. Now, in other matters, thanks for bringing that up, Mr. O'Sullivan. Thanks, Clayton, for doing all that work. You guys got anything? I mean, bother you that guy? I knew there was.
I got stuff for about 13 minutes.
You think you're full? You got that?
No, you brought some about the alternates. I mean, they're not here. I understand that. Is it just, if we're missing and we need a body quorum, is that what they're?
Well, an alternate is a horrible job because you never get asked any questions. You sit through all these meetings, you don't get anything, and so I don't fault them for not coming. The reason we have an alternate is, like for Sean Diddy trial, we don't have to, we don't have to.
All right, let's not bring outsiders. I guess my pushback is there is something, I'm gonna push back a little bit. There is value. It's called being a part of the process. It's called, being here and be ready to get in. That being said, they're not here. They're not, I don't know, maybe, do you have communication with them?
No, but I could. What I usually do if they won't show up like 3 times in a row, then Fernando or somebody. I was dealing with Parks and Leisure, and Tom and I were in Parks and Leisure together, and we just said,
If something like that.
we'll call them up and see if it's expressing interest. I think.
A recommendation to the council.
It might be as simple as, hey, we're not there, but we're watching, we're up to date.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fine.
you don't.
And for the most part too, like if any of you know for sure you're not gonna be here and you would like for me to reach out to an alternate to ask them, one of them, doesn't matter which one, to be like, hey, we know for sure that this committee member is not gonna be here. Are you eligible or are you able to come in and sit in for that meeting?
Is that standard practice in other committees?
For
People stay out until they need it?
If we're gonna review Clayton's suggestions at the next meeting, I think maybe even the alternates need to be notified and asked if they were here, just so that we have a.
They get the same information I get.
Yeah.
They're all equally important, Scott.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
We can tell them, but because they're.
Okay, so they're gonna say, listen, am I gonna get the vote? And they're gonna say no. And they say, well, that guy that has a birthday, why did he show up? Why didn't he stand go to his birthday party? Give me a place to show up.
Tom, council gets a regular update on attendance
Okay.
of all committees. So they monitor it and we've all been appointed by them. So
Got it. We, Tom and I said an anecdotal, said on one where a guy we were there like a year and the guy never showed up one time and they finally replaced him and Tom, jokingly.
Yeah,
said, well, we're sure gonna miss that guy, we haven't seen him in a year,
They're only, I want to say. They're here when they need to be.
So today there's 6 of us. If we were, they would have been appropriate for the one to be here, right?
if we had 3, they'd prefer from to be here because.
We could.
Yeah, because let's say we voted, we have a 3-3.
Ideally, it would have been nice to know if a committee member is not here, so that way I can reach out, but no.
So if somebody showed up today, he'd be a part of this meeting, right?
Correct.
And he would go.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
There's 6, yeah.
But again, ideally, this is just for future reference, if you know you won't be attending, please notify me so that I can notify alternates.
So Alex,
Good idea.
I don't.
Yeah, because what you want to do, the biggest problem, Todd, is you have a hard time keeping people engaged. We have a hard time filling these committees as it is. And so I want them to be here because I want them find it interesting, so maybe they come back again. If you come, I had an alternate up in the Air Resources Board, and it was $100 in fuel to go up there to just sit there, and you couldn't even talk for an hour and 2 hours after an hour drive. You know, there's not much thrill in government in that, you know what I mean? So
You're in the room.
you're in rooms you can't talk. If they were here, I would have probably brought them in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my thing. I'll let you.
No,
That's good.
good
Okay.
one.
Thank you.
Well, and one other thing in comment to that is that luckily because technology, since COVID, they are able to go back and review these meetings on YouTube on the city council or the city of Porterville's link. So,
Desire too.
right. So we couldn't necessarily say that they are not abreast to what's going on. If they so choose, they can go back and watch.
But I still think that I don't, yeah, I mean, you can bring it up if you want to. I mean, my hope is that we have a full core group, you know, when it comes time to picking an assistant guy, and we don't need one, but you know, we could certainly impress upon them. But listen, if they don't show up by the third meeting, you know, and it doesn't matter if they're watching it, that's okay as far as I'm concerned too. Just ask them if they're not interested, just tell them, hey man, just resign. So maybe we'll get someone in there that does want.
Well, this
Your
situation,
guys is,
yeah, that's the thing.
it's a committee determination on.
Call them up. I don't care. They're good guys. I'm sure they're fine. I mean, but I know exactly where they've been, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they didn't want to do it at all. I mean, I get it, man. I wouldn't, you know, I mean, you got a pretty diligent group. You guys, you all show up. You're all pretty primed, so you know it's a good group. You know what I mean? All right. Well, anyway, so I'm just going to do one more roundtable with other matters. Kyle, you got anything else?
Thank you.
Control Sullivan, Clayton.
No, the only thing I don't know if it's proper to bring it up right now, but as a city employee, I have a Form 700 on record, so if anybody needs to review it, it's available.
Listen, everything I own is a matter of public record at the recorder's office.
I have
Someone
no
wants to see
problem
what I
with
own, they're welcome to pull it up. Scott, you got anything?
I'm good.
John, you got anything?
I do not.
All right.
You have anything, Chairman?
Nah, you guys did I'm gonna tell you, you guys did a good job of really making my job easy. I got criticized for the kind of the way that I can let this committee just kind of go. But I think it brings a lot of creativity. I mean, I like open discussion. I think everybody's comfortable. We get input from, you know, and so it's my style, and I'm gonna do it until it doesn't work anymore. But I feel every time I talk to a councilman, I get a compliment on the way that these meetings are running. They said we couldn't ask for a better group of guys. So, and that's who's appointed us. So that's who I'm trying to keep happy. And so again, I like it. I like everybody's very respectful to their other committee members and stuff like that. And you know, I'm happy, and I don't, the worst I get is someone gonna complain about me for 3 minutes. I add that a lot in my career. Anyway, so I don't have anything
Is
else.
there anybody else online? I'm curious.
Mr. Flores still watching?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Flores, for your comments.
There's your pen.
A motion, do you do the motion? Can we do the, anybody do the motion to adjourn?
Ty has your pen on.
Have it been. Chairman, we're waiting for a motion.
Yeah, make it, that's it. Adjournment to the meeting in August 21st, July 17th. All right, there we go.
Time is the 6:39.
Yay!